Hi guys, this is Tablet-News.com and I'm here with a device called the LG G Pro 2. It's a 5.9-inch phablet and it's a solid Galaxy Note 3 rival that I'm going to review for you today. It was announced back in February this year, launched in April, and we're having it here to test and to reveal some of its features to you. Some of them are very cool, some are listed here. This model has also been nicknamed the LG G Flex without the flex. The price tag for this model is $650 on Amazon.com, and people also consider it the larger version of the LG G2. The design offers us a thickness of 8.3 millimeters, the weight is 172 grams, and this device has a larger screen compared to its 5.5-inch predecessor. It also has the backside buttons that we already come to be familiar with on LG devices, the on-off button flanked by these two volume buttons right below the camera. Okay, other than that, we have a dotted back texture that's very good with the grip. We also have a very small bezel for the screen, as you can see, extremely small bezel. And let's remove the back cover actually to see what's behind it. The removal is done pretty easily. That's it. Under it we can find the micro SD and micro SIM card slot overlapped here, the battery that you can see right here, and the speakers that are actually quite big compared to the expectations. That's it. At the front there's an interesting aspect. If you look closely to the edges, the lower and the upper area, you'll see that there is a texture that resembles glitter. You cannot see it right now, but believe me, sometimes you can actually spot the glitter in those areas. It's cute, but it's not exactly techy, so to say. Okay, so aside from the glitter, we also have the earpiece here at the top, the front camera, and some sensors in this area. Obviously the screen and the buttons from Android are virtual, so no buttons at the bottom. We only have the logo here. On the back we find the camera, the buttons, the LED flash, and actually the on-off button will light up from time to time when you press it. It lights up in blue and it actually looks pretty nice. Okay, other than that, we also have the speakers placed here at the bottom. We move further to the upper part where we find the audio jack, a microphone, and the infrared emitter right here. Next up at the bottom we find the micro USB port and the microphone. This device is slightly curved, as you can see, but only slightly, nothing on the sides, since the buttons are at the back. Okay, it also sits very well in my hand, in spite of being a huge device, almost 6 inches in diagonal, and still I'm able to use it easily thanks to the grippy backside. By the way, the case is polycarbonate, and the screen ratio is very good here, 77.2% screen to front surface ratio. I would say that it's very good. It's actually better than the Galaxy Note 3 design in my book, and it's a very nice device. On the hardware side, well, we get a screen that's a 5.9-incher. It's a true IPS Plus LCD Full HD with Gorilla Glass 3 protection. The CPU is a quad-core Snapdragon 800 clocked at 2.26 GHz with Cryte 400 cores. There's also the Adreno 330 GPU, 3 GB of RAM, and 16 or 32 GB of storage. The microSD card slot can offer up to 64 GB extra. Let's see the other features. At the back we have a 13 megapixel camera with LED flash and 4K video capture. At the front a 2.1 megapixel shooter. There's also active noise cancelling, and the specifications list of this model includes quad band GSM GPRS Edge connectivity, HSDPA with download speed of 42.2 mega per second. We have LTE, we have micro USB 2.0 with USB host, USB on the go and slim port. We got Bluetooth 4.0 and infrared, NFC, Wi-Fi, Wi-Fi Direct, DLNA, GPS and GLONASS. Finally, there's an accelerometer on board, proximity sensor, and a battery. Well, the battery is a bit of a disappointment. It's a 3200 mAh lithium-ion unit that on paper should provide us with 370 hours of standby or 14 hours of talk time. By the way, the SAR level of the phone is 0.30 watt per kilogram. In our test, with Wi-Fi on and brightness of 50%, we achieved a measly 5 hours and 20 minutes, which is incredibly weak for such a huge device. However, I have to say that this is a test unit, so we may be dealing with a battery with problems. Once again, it's very low, 5 hours and 20 minutes. I've seen other reviews with 10 hours achieved, so that's kind of strange. However, in normal use, we achieved a day and a half of usage, so at least that's okay. Once again, the test was done with HD video playback, continuously Wi-Fi on brightness of 50%. Well, at least the battery charging is good. In about 1 hour and 47 minutes you can charge the battery from 0 to 100%, which is very okay. There is also a battery saver feature. Let's look it up. Okay, so this is the battery area and this is the battery saver. You can select what percentage to activate it, what things to turn off: auto sync, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, vibrate on touch, brightness, screen timeout and LED notification. You can turn them off to save more battery at a certain percentage. Once again, disappointed about the battery, but it could be the fault of our test unit. It's time for the audio test, folks, and LG actually claims that this model offers 30% more volume than the predecessor, and the speaker is actually similar to the one of the LG G Flex. Let's check out the music player. So let's find it. Here it is. Pretty basic UI. The organization is done by songs, albums, artists, genres, playlists, folders, nearby devices and cloud, so you can also stream stuff. And this player supports FLAC, WAV files, and there's even a cute little YouTube shortcut right here at the top, which I find to be very nice. Okay, now let's play a song. That was maximum volume, by the way. Now let's check out the equalizer and other options. So we're in the settings area, we're going to audio effects, and we got here the equalizer with options like normal, pure sound, bass reducer, bass booster, treble booster, vocal booster, or custom, that you can play, that allows you to play with no less than 7 options, mess with the hertz and the audio experience. Okay, let's see what other options we got available. You can also customize the pitch and the speed of the song you're playing. Those are pretty cool options. And now the conclusions regarding what you just heard. We have a very loud experience, very good bass and a warm voice. However, once you listen to music and you put the device on a flat surface, this is what happens. It loses some of the strength of the sound, which is actually something we tested using a decibel meter. This is the download area and this is it. This is the back of the device. We achieved 85 decibels here when the speaker is facing us, and now when the speaker is facing a flat surface, 82 decibels, so we lose about 3 decibels. Overall, there are very nice acoustics, so we did enjoy the experience, no objections here. Let's see the headphones. Here we go. Those are bundled with the device. They're tangle-free headphones that go pretty deep in the ear, and they're slightly bent. As you can see, they're not straight. They're very comfy. If I'm not mistaken, these are the Quad Beats headphones that LG has been using for a while now, and they're very loud. I mean very loud. They have an excellent bass. The sound is clear, they're comfy, and they have a remote with 3 buttons that you can see right here. We got the play, pause, the forward and back buttons, and that's pretty much it. I have to say that LG offers here 1 watt hi-fi sound, and they promise studio quality. Okay, now it's time to check out the video experience. I'm going to go to the videos app. First I have to find it. So let's see where it is. It's not exactly conspicuous. Here we go, the video app. And let's try to find a sample to play. For example, this one here. This is our regular test sample that we use in most reviews. You can do pinch to zoom, which is not a new feature. I've done that on a ton of devices already. And let's see other things. When audio zoom is available, you can actually use that, but that implies using a sample that you film with an LG device. And now let's play the video again. And by the way, when you can use audio zoom, you'll be able to hear especially the left side, the right side, or the center, depending on what you choose. Let me actually show you what I'm talking about. This sample was filmed with the LG G2, and when I press this I can select the audio focus area, so right, left or center, which is a pretty cool option and the reason that people use the audio zoom feature. Okay, so let's see other options available here. You can take a screenshot, you can add subtitles, obviously, select the play speed, mess with settings like play on lock screen, video auto off, brightness or smart video that I'll cover a bit later. You can also see a playlist on the side like this, and obviously you also have the usual options like the pop-up play rival. It's called Q slide. You can change the dimension, move it around the screen, and it's a bit laggy as you can see. You can do other activities and keep playing the video using the Q slide feature, but as I said, lag appears sometimes. Okay, so we continue with the video aspect. There are 3 crop modes here, and this player supports DivX and AC3. The screen is a true IPS plus LCD with a 5.9 inch diagonal, and the resolution is 1920 over 1080 pixels. The density is 373 ppi, and the screen is bright, crisp, it has good contrast, and it also offers wide viewing angles, as you can see. I would say that it offers very wide viewing angles, even compared to the best models out there. There is no color degradation and image degradation when you turn the device. The colors are not exactly realistic, they're a bit oversaturated, and the pixels are of the RGB stripe kind. We actually use the microscope on this screen, and the pixels look like this. RGB stripe pixels. We also use the lux meter. Here it is. We achieved 357 lux units on white. This is below the Galaxy Note 3 that achieves 400 lux units, and also below the Xperia Z2 that achieves 366 lux units. To me, it's bright enough for games, for movies and all the other activities, although the white is kind of too bright for me. Okay, the screen to frame ratio is 77.2%. This one is a very good screen, so I have no objections about it. Maybe the brightness could have been just a little bit higher, but not this kind of whitish brightness, a well proportioned one. Now let's go to the settings area, the display, and let's see what we got available here. We have home screen. You can either select the normal home screen or the easy home. I'm guessing this is a special mode that allows let's say elderly people or people with sight problems to use the device. You can go back and set it to your normal mode, and we got a bunch of other settings related to the display. We have the lock screen options with the swipe effect, wallpaper, shortcuts, patterns, the front touch buttons that can be customized, and I mean the button combo. Since they're virtual, you can rearrange them, and you can also change the brightness, obviously, screen timeout, screen off effect, daydream, font type, font size, and a few more options like smart screen, with the screen stays on when the phone detects your face, and smart video that you saw earlier. The video pauses when the phone cannot detect your face. Then we have the notification LED, the one at the front and the one at the back, which is hidden here in the on off button. Both can be customized to show you these features. And finally we have screen capture area that allows you to select what area to capture. So those are the options of the display. Pretty good display in my book. Now let's talk about the camera just a little bit. We're dealing with a 13 megapixel shooter right here with optical image stabilization plus actually. The LG G2 had normal stabilization as far as I know, so it's the same experience as the G2 with stabilization plus and extra software stabilization. Okay, there is no dedicated night mode this time. We have a natural flash that uses Qualcomm Chroma technology, and it takes 2 pictures, one with the flash, one without, then it merges them. The camera offers f2.4 aperture at the back, and at the front it offers f2.2 aperture. The front cam is also pretty good. Let's select the normal mode for now and analyze the other later. And there's actually a pretty cool selfie feature. You can actually use sort of a flash for selfies. So you enter the selfie camera, you press the flash button, and the screen will be made very white and your viewfinder will be smaller, so the rest of the area that's white will be used as a flash. I hope you understood what I said. So basically this camera is exactly like the one of the LG G2, but with 20% better according to LG. Okay, so let's see the options. We got a flash right here at the left, we got the shortcut to the front camera, we got the modes and the settings here, plus this shortcut to the video, shutter button in the middle, and shortcut to the gallery. Okay, now let's analyze the modes. So first we got normal, that pretty much speaks for itself. Then we got magic focus, which is a new feature. This one takes pictures with various focuses and then selects the focus. You can choose the closer one or the one that's further. So let's actually give you a little bit of a demo. We have two objects, one in the foreground and one in the background. I just took a bunch of pictures and then I choose this and select what to focus on. I can focus on the finger or on the castle depending on what I want, or I can put everything in focus. It actually works pretty foolproof and it's a nice feature, and it actually works. I remember that the Galaxy S5 offered the selective focus feature and didn't exactly work for me. Okay, so magic focus works, and the following modes are dynamic tone, which is HDR, panorama, VR panorama, 360 degrees, burst shot, beauty shot, dual camera, use the back and the front camera at the same time, time catch shot, take a few pictures before you start to press the shutter and after, shot and clear, erase people from pictures, intelligent auto, and finally sports. Now in the settings area we have stuff like cheese shutter, where you can say take a picture of cheese, then we have exposure, and then we have focus options that are not available in this mode but rather in the normal one. So here we go. Focus modes: auto, manual, and face tracking. Picture size, you can go up to 4160 over 3120 in 4:3 or 4160 over 2340 in 16:9. ISO, white balance, some color effects, timer, geotagging, shutter sound, volume key, capture, and that's pretty much it. In the video area, we've got the same shortcuts here aside from the modes, where we can find live effects, dual recording, and tracking zoom that I'll cover a bit later. And in the settings we have audio zoom, that's a very cool feature, and capture that goes up to 4K. We can also do smooth filming, which is full HD in 60 frames per second. We got exposure here, white balance, and let's see what else, color effects, volume key, and that's everything you can do with the settings on this device. So let's actually take a picture, see how fast the camera is doing, and see how crisp it is. Obviously it's very crisp. This is not a poor camera by any means. The level of detail is good, and the comparisons with the Galaxy Note 3 camera are just because the two are actually pretty similar. Okay, now let's go to the gallery and see the other pictures I've taken using this camera. As usual, I take a lot of pictures. I've taken about 160 of them. Let's take them one by one. So first of all, I tried off the HDR feature. This is a regular picture. This is the same picture with HDR. As you can see, it lights everything up and it looks nice. The colors are vivid. They're slightly oversaturated. It may be the fault of the screen in the end. Good looking shots all the way. I also did a panorama. That looks pretty nice. And let's see what else we got here. Everything feels very crisp. This is also an HDR shot. We have good exposure, good brightness. And let's see some flowers, since we attempted some macro shots. As you can see, good level of detail and slightly exaggerated exposure. Okay, these are the flowers I actually wanted to show you. Very detailed and very nice shots. If the colors weren't oversaturated, the camera would be 10 times better. I actually have a hard time taking macros with this camera. I'm usually having to rely on the magic focus to actually get a decent macro. The normal options won't cut it. And we even went in the park under a bridge to take some pictures in low light. Here's what came: graffiti under the bridge. Pretty decent, I would say, for this camera. Okay, other stuff for mentioning is that at night the camera is not very impressive. I remember that the LG G2 was also poor at night, so the trend continues. Those are pictures taken at night. They're yellowish. They have a yellowish tint to them. The ones taken during the day are actually very good. I praised them before, so no objection there. At night, I can only say one thing: the flash is pretty powerful, I give it that much, and the daylight pictures are good, but they're not Xperia Z2 good, so to say. As far as the video is concerned, well, let's see a 4K video. Let's actually find the 4K video. It's one with roses. Here we go. 4K video available here. very crisp. It has a bitrate of 30 mega per second, stereo audio, and I'm moving around, so the stabilization is very good. Now let's see a low light sample under that bridge I mentioned earlier. Okay, so this is it. Video under the bridge, low light all the way. You will see how the camera adjusts its exposure and white balance properly, which is a very cool feature. Right now it should be very dark, but it has managed to adjust it properly, and we can actually understand everything that's written on the wall. Okay, we also have a slow motion sample of the fountains here. That's another feature available. And we also have a tracking zoom shot. You see that there is a special window right here that's showing you only a certain area zoomed in your shot. And at some point we even did a 60 frame per second capture. If I'm not mistaken, is this one. Very crisp, very realistic motions. And finally I tried out the audio zoom feature. Let's check it out. So I saw a speaker in the park playing a song. I zoomed in, and when you zoom in you can actually hear the song better. As you can see, I'm pretty far away from the speaker, and when I zoom in I'll hear it, but there's a lot of static, so that didn't exactly work as I expected. Well, the stabilization was better tested by me at night, when I actually walked near some cars and a tram and decided to simply walk and let the handset film for me. So here we go, letting the handset film while I'm walking. In spite of the fact that I'm moving, the filming is relatively stable, so stabilization is actually good. However, I'm pretty disappointed by the nighttime capture, because everything is yellowish. There's that yellow tint I kept mentioning earlier. However, the day videos are very good. Overall, the camera is on par with the cam from the Galaxy Note 3. It's better than the one of the LG G2. But still, it's pretty weak at night if that's what you're looking for. You can also do a little bit of picture editing if you want. So if you select this picture, for example, you will see that there are some options available here, and a lot of them actually. And if you press edit, there are the following options. You can rotate, crop, or apply some filters. A lot of them like warm, cross, black and white, cool, contrast, retro lux, drama, and drama 2. And you can touch and hold to compare. So that's the editing area. As I said, the camera is pretty good, and I would say it's about the same level as the one of the Galaxy Note 3. Now let's talk about the performance, and that requires temperature. So here's the thermometer. We achieved a temperature of 39 degrees Celsius after playing some games, which means the device does not suffer from overheating, so that's good. Let's go to the web browser and load Tablet-News.com. Here we go. Loads reasonably fast, and the screen is very crisp, so you can actually read our news without having to zoom in. But of course you can zoom in if you want easily, and you can also scroll without a problem. We also have a very comfy keyboard with a special numeric row that fits on this big screen. As far as the phone calling is concerned, well, I have to say that the signal is good, the call quality is also good, the volume is loud, and let's see what else. So crisp, loud volume, and good signal. In the settings area, we also have some options related to the call. So we have call reject, decline with message, privacy keeper, auto answer, connection vibration, voice enhancement and noise suppression that will both aid you when you're in an area with noise or if you want to enhance the voice clarity in noisy environments. So all of these are extra features that will boost your phone calling abilities. Okay, and now off to the benchmarks. We have a lot of them, and you're probably wondering what other devices I compared this model with. I decided to compare the G Pro 2 with the LG G2 and the Galaxy Note 3. Here we go. In quadrant we scored 19,079 points. This way we beat the G2 and it's 17,000 points. We got beaten by the Galaxy Note 3 and it's 21,000 points. Next up, Antutu. Here we got a pretty good 32,000 points, 473. This is an area where the LG G2 beat us by about 1,000 points and the Galaxy Note 3 scored 35,000 points, so it beat us again. In Nanomark, 59.6 frames per second. We beat the G2 by 1 frame per second and got beaten by the Galaxy Note 3 by about 1 frame per second, so pretty close. In Velamo, in the HTML5 test, 1696, once again beaten by the G2 with 2930 and by the Galaxy Note 3 with 2884. 3D Mark, a pretty good score, 17,233, while the LG G2 scores 15,000, so we beat it. However, the Note 3 beat us with 19,000, one of the best scores in this benchmark ever. Okay, we proceed further. We have Geekbench 3 here. We scored 948 in the single core test, while an iPhone 5s, for example, scores 1410, so that one beat us. However, in the multi-core test we scored 2596 and we actually beat the iPhone 5s that scores 2563. We also have GFX Bench, somewhere around here. Here it is, GFX Bench. In the T-Rex off-screen test, the 1080p one, we scored 22.5 frames per second, and here the iPhone 5s beats us with 25 frames per second. Okay, let's proceed even further, see the other benchmarks. Like this one, this is Browser Mark 2.1. The ratings have changed, but we achieved about 1305, which should be beaten by the G2 with its 2800 and by the Galaxy Note 3 with 3000 points. Once again, it's not the same benchmark. That one was Browser Mark 2.0, now it's 2.1, so we shouldn't actually be comparing them. We also did a test speed and I was hugely impressed by it. Here it is, an excellent download speed, 28 MB per second in download, 26 in upload and a ping of 16 ms. One of the best, if not the best download speeds I've ever seen on every device I've ever tested, and I'm in tablets, I'm in phones, so very good download speed and upload speed, and that's impressive. Finally, the SunSpider test, 579 ms, the lower the better. Here we got beaten by the iPhone 5s with its score of 473. And now let's talk a bit about the user interface. Well, as far as the interface is concerned, you'll feel right at home if you've played with the LG G2 and ever saw one of these in action. The interface is pretty much the same. We're running Android 4.4.2. Here we go, Android 4.4.2, KitKat, and frankly speaking, the UI feels a bit old nowadays after having seen the LG G3 especially and the other new stuff like the HTC Sense new generation, the latest TouchWiz. This one is becoming a bit obsolete. So we have the standard widgets here. They're good looking, but once again they're starting to feel obsolete compared to the competition. We also have the notification area with the usual options for an LG device, which includes quick memo. If you tap it, you open a quick memo area. If you have a map, you can draw a rendezvous point on it. You can also edit stuff, create a yellow background to take notes, delete stuff with this eraser, change your pen type with these options, the thickness, the type of pen, the color and such things. And that was quick memo in a nutshell. Then we have Q slide, which is basically just like a pop-up play, but for a few apps. You can overlap two apps. So let's say the internet browser is one of them and the calendar is another one of them. There are floating windows that you can move around the screen, and that's basically Q slide. That can also include a video player. Okay, we move further to quick remote. You can integrate the TV remote here in this notification area, and you can also edit all of these shortcuts as you please, a lot of options available here. Quick remote included, sound profile, Wi-Fi, data enable, battery saver, Miracast, and LED features. Okay, now let's see what else. Once you will insert the USB cable in the lower area or the headphones in the upper area, you'll see a special bar open on the screen suggesting you apps associated with your action. So it can suggest you players or actions to do with the newly inserted accessory. Okay, and now off to the settings. In the sound area, you will find something called quiet mode. So it allows you to change the sound mode to silent mode and block calls. If you wanted to set it at night or maybe during a meeting, you can set it right here. Set also some times for it, special time frame, and block incoming calls during it. Next up, let's see what else. You have smart ringtones, voice notifications, notification sound, and touch feedback. In the display area, we have the home screen with the easy mode that you saw earlier and a few other interesting settings. Next up is the general area, and here we find features. Let's see, we got gestures available right here, like the screen on off, answer incoming call by bringing the phone to the ear to answer the call, fade out ringtone, snooze or turn off alarm, just flip the phone for that, and motion sensor calibration. There's the double tap action going on here, so if you double tap on a space on the screen, you can lock the device. If you double tap again, you unlock it. Here we go. That was the feature shown earlier. Okay, let's see what else we got here. We also have one-handed operation. You can set it up over here, but it's much easier to just trigger it by swiping your finger across the virtual buttons area. And now this is the one-hand mode. I'm entering YouTube with a single hand. Let's see what else we can do. Let's trigger it again. Okay, so we can go back again, enter the web browser, and you can actually see the keyboard in its minimized version and tap stuff around. Let's try to tap phone using a single hand, which is kind of hard. Okay, phone, we made it, and that was the one-handed experience. That's actually pretty cool. Let's go back to the settings, and these are the options associated here: dial keypad, LG keyboard, lock screen, and mini view that's triggered with this swipe. Okay, we also have multitasking available here with slide aside and dual window, which I'll explain to you right now. Let's say we're inside an app like the Play Store. I'm going to use 3 fingers to slide aside the application. So that's application number 1, then the browser, slide aside again, and finally messaging, slide aside. And these 3 apps are now set in a special area, can be triggered like this. You see all 3 of them. You close it like this, and you just had 3 apps in a cool multitasking way. If you keep the back button pressed, you will trigger the dual mode window. So you can drag this icon here and drag this icon here. You split the screen in 2 and enjoy 2 parts of the screen. You can watch video on one, do some web browsing on the other at the same time, no problem. Of course, this is a rival for the Samsung multi-window mode, but it's working pretty cool. Okay, you also saw that 3-finger swipe, and let's check out the other features. We're back here. We have a guest mode, which is a feature that you know from other devices. We have encryption in the security area, encrypt phone or SD card storage, backup and reset, PC connection, developer settings, and that's pretty much it. One of the important aspects that I didn't show you yet, I said it for last, is probably what LG likes to call the selling point of the device, and it's knock code. You can customize your lock screen by knocking on a square here. So if I knock 2 times here, 3 times here, 2 times here, and 3 times here, that's my code. So 2, 3, nope, 1 wrong. Let's try again. You have to remember the pattern, so let's say 2, 2, 2, 2. Okay, we have this, and I'm going to use the backup pin. And now, once the device screen is turned off, you can activate it like this. And that's it. Of course, you can change the code if you want to, but that's the knock code that LG brags so much about. You just tap on the screen, Morse code. It may even mean something in Morse code if you want it to, and that's it. Okay, now we're off to the apps section. It's not a very rich section, which I find to be very good. I'm sick of bloatware, so we have the Play Suite here, obviously. We got some utility stuff like Update Center and LG Backup, plus a file manager. That looks pretty good. We have the alarm clock and the calendar. Okay, camera, Chrome, contacts, email, gallery, internet, live square. This one is a bit of a stalker feature. And you can see the stuff I've posted on Twitter, the pictures I've taken recently, videos I watched, and the stuff I saw on Facebook. So it's basically a timeline of your life, everything you posted on the web, and every picture you've taken, everything you've interacted with on Facebook is here. Next up is Maps, the usual Google Maps experience. Nothing extra, nothing minus, just a very crisp screen to work with. Okay, and next we got Memo. The name speaks for itself. It's a memo taking application. You can make it go to QSlide mode, and you can also create dotted lines, take a photo, integrate audio, record voice, location, date, time, or even draw on the screen if need be. And then we got this option to change the memo background color. Next up, messaging, music, phone, Play Store, and quick remote. This one allows you to control a TV set and other appliances as well. For example, I don't know, a fridge maybe, a set-top box, and a few other devices, maybe a Blu-ray player. We got remote call service. And the settings, obviously. We got voicemate, that's certainly no Siri and no Google Now. What's the weather like? What's the weather like? It's taking forever, as you can see, it's pretty slow.
Today your current location will be mostly cloudy with thunder showers.
That doesn't sound good. Okay, we move further to voice recorder, weather box, included in the mix, calculator and notebook. Notebook is trying to be some sort of Galaxy S Note replacement. We create a new note, and this note is pretty complex. It's no S Note, but it's complex. So you can use the keyboard. You can draw and doodle stuff around with a variety of options, pens and brushes. You can erase stuff, and you can add stickers in the mix. It's loading because there are a lot of stickers, like this one, have a nice day. Aside from stickers, you can add photos, videos, record videos, audio, record voice, location, date and time, and schedule. And then you can share stuff, save it. Let's actually press this button. You can add to Dropbox, send via Bluetooth, Google+, Hangouts, Memo, Messaging, Photos, Picasa, and Smart Share. And that was your rival for the S Note on these Samsung devices. Next up, we got LG Smart World with an updated interface from what we're used to. LG tends to update these applications interface quite often, which means they're probably not happy with what they did before. I actually spotted some pretty nice themes here. I don't find many interesting apps here, but the themes are quite good, I have to say. This is the App Store that LG provides on its devices. We got Polaris Office Viewer 5 for your productivity needs related to Office, XLS, and PowerPoint files. I meant Word. And then we got Tasks. That's the very last app. You set your tasks here, start date, due date, description, repeat, and reminders. And those are all the apps available on the LG G Pro 2. And now the end of the review, the verdict, the pros and the cons. On the pro side, we have very good audio, both of the headphones and the speaker at the back. We also have a good display. I'm talking about, let's try again to unlock it. When I say very good display, I'm talking about the brightness, I'm talking about the contrast, and I'm talking about the other aspects. And I mean the viewing angles that are crazy good, so to say. Also, the camera has improved compared to the LG G2. You saw that mountain of samples, and you have to really admit that the camera has improved from the LG G2. That was a bit of a disappointment. We also have optical image stabilization plus, which is a big plus. The design is actually very nice. I would even choose this model over the Galaxy Note 3 thanks to the design. I like the one-hand mode. I like the knock code for an extra layer of security. The performance is also good. There's no bloatware. the battery charges very fast, 1 hour and 40 minutes, and finally there's no lag or other problems like this. On the con side, we have the very bad battery. I mentioned earlier, only 5 hours and 20 minutes of functioning, which is a bit of a disappointment. Of course, it may be the fault of our test unit and not the fault of all devices. Then there's a bad night capture and low light capture when it comes to the camera. We have an oversaturated screen and oversaturated pictures when taking pictures. The interface feels a bit old in 2014, so we feel the need for something brand new. And this device does not exactly stand out to something special. So the LG G Pro 2 does not stand out to that special feature that makes you buy it. Now let's give it some grades. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 9.5 out of 10 for design, because I like the design very much. For the hardware, I'm going to give it an 8.7 out of 10. I dropped many points here because of the battery. If the battery is good and this unit was bad, the grade may go higher. And finally, operating system and user interface, a 9. The final grade is 9.06 out of 10, and this is the review of the LG G Pro 2 phablet. Final grade 9.06 out of 10. If the battery is better, it could easily turn into a 9.16 or 9.2. However, remember, we only achieved 5 hours of playback with this unit. I would choose between this and the Galaxy Note 3, and frankly I would choose the Note 3 instead of this one. This is it from Tablet-News.com. Bye bye.